Leo, your next 7 days in one theme: momentum. The next 7 days are about to hand you the kind of momentum that most people wait an entire year to feel. And you are going to learn exactly how to use it before this video ends. If you are a Leo, or if you have Leo rising, Leo moon, or strong Leo energy in your chart, then right now you are sitting at a very specific crossroads. You can feel it. There is something building inside of you. A restlessness. A quiet knowing that things are supposed to be moving faster than they have been. Maybe you have been stuck in a pattern that does not match who you are becoming. Maybe you have been giving your energy to situations that stopped growing a long time ago. Or maybe you just woke up one morning recently and thought, something has to change. That feeling is not random. It is not anxiety. It is not impatience. It is your energy aligning with a window that is opening right now. And the theme of that window is momentum. Not the kind of momentum where you force things to happen. Not the kind where you push harder and burn out. This is the kind of momentum where things begin to flow because you finally step into the current that has been waiting for you. Over the next several minutes, I am going to walk you through 10 specific tips that will help you ride this wave with clarity, with confidence, and with real results. Stay until the end, because tip number 10 contains something that could shift your entire perspective on what is possible for you right now. Tip 1. Stop waiting for the perfect moment and start moving with what you have. Leo, let me tell you something that might sting a little at first but will set you free if you let it land. You have been waiting. You might not call it waiting. You might call it planning. You might call it being careful. You might call it getting ready. But the truth underneath all of those words is the same. You have been standing still when the energy around you has been begging you to move. And the reason you have been standing still is not because you are lazy. It is not because you lack vision. It is because somewhere deep inside, you decided that the moment has to feel perfect before you take the first step. You decided that everything needs to line up. Your mood, your energy, your resources, your confidence, your circumstances, before you can begin. And while that might sound wise on the surface, it is actually the very thing that has been keeping you from the momentum this week is offering you. Here is what the energy of this week is telling you. The perfect moment does not exist. It never has. And every single time you have made real progress in your life, if you look back honestly, you will see that you started before you were ready. You started before you had all the answers. You started before the fear went away. You started messy and uncertain and a little shaky. And that is exactly what made the progress real. Because momentum is not built on perfection. Momentum is built on motion. And motion, by its very nature, begins with one imperfect step. Think about the area of your life where you feel the most stuck right now. Maybe it is your health. Maybe it is a relationship. Maybe it is a project you have been thinking about for months or even years. Now ask yourself this honest question. What is one small thing you could do today? Not tomorrow, not next week, not when you feel ready. But today that would move you even 1 inch closer to where you want to be. It does not have to be dramatic. It does not have to be impressive. It just has to be real. Because once you take that one step, something shifts inside of you. Your brain stops seeing you as someone who is thinking about doing something and starts seeing you as someone who is doing it. And that shift in identity is worth more than 1,000 perfect plans. Leo, your sign is ruled by the sun. You are designed to shine. But the sun does not wait for permission to rise. It does not check the weather forecast first. It does not ask if the world is ready for it. It simply rises. And that is your energy this week. Rise before you are ready. Move before you have the full picture. Trust that the light you carry is enough to illuminate the path as you walk it. You do not need to see the entire staircase. You just need to see the next step. And this week, the next step is right in front of you. The only thing standing between you and momentum is the decision to begin. Not the decision to begin perfectly, just the decision to begin. The people who build the lives they dream about are not the ones who had the best plans. They are the ones who started before they were comfortable. They are the ones who took action when everything inside of them said wait a little longer. They are the ones who understood that clarity does not come before action. It comes from action. So this week, give yourself permission to be imperfect. Give yourself permission to stumble. Give yourself permission to take one small, unglamorous, unpolished step toward the thing that matters most to you. Because that step is the beginning of everything. Tip 2. Protect your energy like it is your most valuable resource. If there is one thing that Leo energy struggles with, it is this. You give too much. You give your time, your attention, your warmth, your loyalty, your creativity, your encouragement. And you give it freely, generously, without always checking whether the people receiving it are worthy of it. And that generosity is one of your greatest gifts. But this week, it could also be your greatest obstacle. Because momentum requires fuel. And your energy is that fuel. Every drop of energy you pour into a situation that drains you is a drop of energy you cannot put toward the things that are trying to grow in your life right now. This is not about becoming cold. This is not about shutting people out. This is about becoming honest with yourself about where your energy is going and whether it is giving you a return. Think of your energy like water flowing through a garden. If you have 10 channels and only enough water for 3, then 7 parts of your garden are going to suffer no matter what you do. But if you close the channels that lead to dry, dead soil and redirect that water toward the parts that are alive and growing, suddenly everything blooms. That is what this week is asking you to do. Redirect. Focus. Choose. Take a quiet moment sometime in the next day or two and make an honest inventory. Who in your life fills you up after you spend time with them? Who leaves you feeling drained, heavy, or small? What activities make you feel alive, creative, and connected to your purpose? What activities leave you feeling numb, resentful, or exhausted? You do not have to make dramatic announcements or cut people off, but you do need to start making quiet, intentional choices about where your energy flows. Because this week, every bit of energy you reclaim from something that is not serving you becomes fuel for the momentum that is building. There is a pattern that many Leos fall into, and it looks like this. Someone needs something from you, and because you are warm and generous and you genuinely care, you say yes. Even when you are tired, even when you have your own things to focus on, even when saying yes means putting yourself last again. And then you wonder why you feel stuck. You wonder why your dreams are not moving forward. You wonder why everyone around you seems to be making progress while you are standing still. The answer is not that you are less capable. The answer is that you have been pouring your capability into everyone else's cup while leaving your own empty. This week changes that. Not through selfishness, but through wisdom. The most loving thing you can do for the people in your life is to show up as a full, energized, alive version of yourself. And you cannot do that if you are running on empty. You cannot pour from an empty cup. And you cannot build momentum without fuel. So protect your energy this week. Guard it. Be intentional about it. Say no to the things that drain you so you can say yes to the things that are calling you forward. This is not a luxury. This is a necessity. And the momentum you are about to experience depends on it. Leo, you were born to lead, to create, to inspire. But you cannot do any of those things if you are exhausted from carrying everyone else's weight. This week, put yourself first. Not in a selfish way, in a strategic way, in a way that honors the fire inside you and gives it room to burn brightly. Because when your fire burns brightly, it lights up everything and everyone around you. That is the paradox. By taking care of yourself first, you actually become more capable of taking care of others. So do not feel guilty about this. Feel empowered. If what you're hearing feels accurate, imagine what could happen if you applied this energy intentionally for 21 consecutive days. That's exactly what the 21-day program in the pinned comment is built for. Daily guidance, focused direction, and real momentum. If you're tired of staying in the same cycle, this is your structure. Tip 3. Speak your intentions out loud and make them real. There is something powerful that happens when you take a thought that has been living quietly inside your mind and you bring it out into the open. Stops being a wish. Stops being a daydream. It becomes a declaration. And declarations have weight. They have gravity. They pull things toward you in ways that silent hoping never can. This week, Leo, the energy is asking you to speak. Not just to talk, but to declare. To name out loud what you want, where you are headed, and who you are becoming. Most people keep their dreams locked away inside their heads. They think about what they want. They imagine it. They fantasize about it late at night when no one is watching. But they never say it out loud. And the reason they never say it out loud is fear. Fear of sounding foolish. Fear of being judged. Fear of failing publicly. Fear of claiming something that might not come true. But here is what those people do not understand. The act of speaking your intention out loud is not a guarantee that it will happen. It is a commitment that you will move toward it. And commitment, even more than talent or luck, is what creates results. When you say out loud, I am building something meaningful, or I am ready for a new chapter, or I deserve better than what I have been accepting. Something shifts inside you. Your brain hears those words and begins to reorganize around them. Your subconscious starts filtering the world differently. You begin to notice opportunities you would have missed before. You begin to attract conversations and connections that align with what you declared. It is not magic. It is alignment. And alignment is the foundation of momentum. This week, find someone you trust and tell them what you are working toward. It does not have to be a grand announcement. It can be a simple conversation over a meal. It can be a message to a friend. It can even be words spoken to yourself in the mirror. The point is not who hears it. The point is that you hear it. Because when you hear yourself say what you want, you begin to believe it in a deeper way. You move from wishing to knowing. You move from hoping to expecting. An expectation is one of the most powerful forces in your life. Leo energy is naturally bold. You are not afraid of attention. You are not afraid of being seen. But sometimes when it comes to the things that matter most to you, you go quiet. You protect your dreams by hiding them. You think that if you do not tell anyone, then no one can watch you fail. But the opposite is also true. If you do not tell anyone, then no one can support you, encourage you, or hold you accountable. And accountability is one of the secret ingredients of momentum. When someone knows what you are working toward, it becomes harder to quit. It becomes harder to slide back into old patterns. It becomes harder to make excuses. And that pressure, that gentle, supportive pressure, is exactly what this week is offering you. So speak up. Say what you want. Say it clearly. Say it boldly. Say it with the kind of conviction that your sign is known for. And then watch what happens. Watch how the world begins to rearrange itself around your words. Watch how doors open that you did not even know existed. Watch how people show up to help you in ways you never expected. This is the power of spoken intention. And this week, that power is amplified for you in a way that does not come around often. Do not waste it by staying silent. Tip 4. Release the need to control every outcome. This one might be the hardest tip for you to hear, Leo, because you like to be in charge. You like to know how things are going to turn out. You like to have a plan, a vision, a clear picture of the destination. And that quality has served you well in many areas of your life. But this week, it could actually slow you down. Because momentum, real momentum, requires a certain amount of surrender. Not giving up, not being passive, but releasing your grip on exactly how things need to unfold and trusting that the energy moving through your life right now knows what it is doing. Think about it this way. Imagine you are standing in a river. The current is strong and it is moving in a direction that would carry you exactly where you want to go. But instead of letting the current carry you, you are gripping the rocks on the riverbed, trying to control the speed, the direction, the timing. You are exhausting yourself fighting the very force that is trying to help you. That is what the need to control every outcome looks like. And this week, the energy is asking you to let go of the rocks. This does not mean you stop working hard. This does not mean you stop having goals. This does not mean you become passive and just hope for the best. What it means is that you do your part. You show up, you take action, you put in the effort. And then you release the outcome. You trust that the results will come in the right form and at the right time. Maybe not exactly the way you pictured them. Maybe not on the exact timeline you created. But in a way that is ultimately better than what you could have planned. Leo, your sign has a deep relationship with pride. And pride is not a bad thing. Pride in your work, pride in your character, pride in your relationships. These are all beautiful. But sometimes pride shows up as the need to be right. The need to have things go exactly your way. The need to prove that your vision is the correct one. And when you are holding that tightly to your idea of how things should be, you miss the beauty of how things actually are. You miss the unexpected blessings. You miss the detours that turn out to be shortcuts. You miss the magic that only shows up when you leave room for surprise. This week, practice the art of open-handed living. Hold your goals with open hands instead of clenched fists. Do the work. Take the steps. Show up fully, but let the results breathe. Let them take shape on their own timeline. Let them surprise you, because some of the best things that have ever happened to you, if you look back honestly, were things you never planned. They were things that showed up because you were open enough to receive them. And this week, that openness is your superpower. There is a beautiful balance between effort and surrender, and finding that balance is what this week is really about. You are not being asked to stop trying. You are being asked to stop forcing. You are being asked to work with the current instead of against it. And when you do that, when you find that flow between doing and releasing, you will feel a kind of ease that you might not have felt in a very long time. That ease is not laziness. That ease is alignment. And alignment is where momentum lives. Tip 5. Reconnect with the things that make you feel alive. Somewhere along the way, Leo, you stopped doing the things that light you up. Maybe it happened slowly. Maybe responsibilities piled up. Maybe you got so busy taking care of everything and everyone else that you forgot to take care of the part of you that needs joy, creativity, and play. But this week, that part of you is waking up. And it is hungry. It has been starving for attention. And the momentum you are being offered right now is directly connected to feeding it. When was the last time you did something purely for the joy of it? Not because it was productive. Not because it would lead to some result. Not because someone else needed you to do it. But simply because it made you feel alive. For some of you, that might be music. For others, it might be painting, writing, dancing, cooking, gardening, walking in nature, or simply sitting somewhere beautiful and letting your mind wander. Whatever it is, you know what it is. You have always known. You have just been telling yourself that you do not have time for it, or that it is not important enough, or that you will get back to it later when things calm down. Here is what I want you to understand. Those things are not optional. They are not luxuries. They are fuel. They are the very things that keep your fire burning. And without them, your fire dims. Your creativity fades. Your motivation drops. Your ability to lead, to inspire, to show up fully in the world. All of it depends on you staying connected to what makes you feel alive. Because you cannot give the world your best if you are running on fumes. Leo is ruled by the sun. And the sun does not apologize for shining. It does not dim itself to make others comfortable. It does not hide behind clouds because it is worried about taking up too much space. It shines because that is its nature. And your nature is the same. You are designed to glow. You are designed to radiate warmth, creativity, and life. But you can only do that if you are feeding your flame. And the things that make you feel alive are the kindling. This week, make a commitment to yourself. Set aside time, even if it is just 30 minutes a day, for something that brings you pure, unfiltered joy. Do not justify it. Do not explain it. Do not feel guilty about it. Just do it. And notice what happens. Notice how your energy shifts. Notice how your perspective changes. Notice how problems that felt heavy suddenly feel lighter. Notice how ideas start flowing. Notice how your relationships improve, because you are showing up as a fuller, more vibrant version of yourself. The world needs your light, Leo. But you cannot give what you do not have. So fill yourself up first. Reconnect with the things that make your heart sing. And watch how that reconnection becomes the spark that ignites the momentum you have been waiting for. It is not separate from your goals. It is the fuel that powers them. Every moment you spend doing something that makes you feel truly alive is a moment invested in your own momentum. Do not underestimate the power of joy. It is not a distraction from your purpose. It is the very heart of it. Tip 6. Have the conversation you have been avoiding. There is a conversation that has been sitting in the back of your mind for weeks, maybe months. You know exactly which one I am talking about. It is the one you keep rehearsing in your head but never actually have. It is the one you keep putting off because you are afraid of what might happen. It is the one that makes your stomach tighten just thinking about it. And this week, Leo, the energy is giving you the courage and the clarity to finally have it. The reason you have been avoiding this conversation is not because you are weak. It is because you care deeply. Leo energy cares so much about the people in your life that sometimes you will sacrifice your own peace to maintain theirs. You will swallow your truth to keep the harmony. You will pretend everything is fine when it is not, because the thought of conflict or disappointment feels worse than the discomfort of staying silent. But here is what silence costs you. Costs you momentum. Every unspoken truth, every avoided conversation, every swallowed feeling. It all takes up space inside you. It sits in your chest like a weight, quietly draining your energy, and you cannot build momentum while carrying that weight. This conversation does not have to be a confrontation. It does not have to be dramatic. It does not have to end in tears or raised voices. It can be calm, it can be kind, it can be honest without being hurtful. The goal is not to win. The goal is to free yourself. The goal is to say what needs to be said so that you can move forward without that invisible anchor dragging behind you. Think about how much mental energy you spend rehearsing this conversation. Think about how many times you have played it out in your head, imagining different scenarios, different responses, different outcomes. All of that mental energy is energy that could be going toward your goals, your creativity, your growth. Every moment you spend avoiding this conversation is a moment of momentum lost. And here is something else to consider. The person you need to have this conversation with. They probably already sense that something is off. They might not know exactly what it is, but they can feel the distance. They can feel the tension. They can feel that you are holding something back. So by having this conversation, you are not just freeing yourself. You are giving the relationship a chance to grow into something more honest, more real, and more sustainable. Leo, your sign is associated with the heart. You lead with your heart in everything you do. And right now, your heart is asking you to be brave. Not the kind of brave that roars and demands. The kind of brave that sits down quietly and says, I need to tell you something. The kind of brave that chooses truth over comfort. The kind of brave that trusts that the relationship is strong enough to hold honesty. This week, have the conversation. Have it with love. Have it with clarity. Have it with the understanding that speaking your truth is one of the most powerful things you can do for your own momentum. Because once those words are out, once that weight is lifted, you will feel lighter than you have felt in months. And in that lightness, you will find speed. You will find clarity. You will find the energy to move forward in ways that were impossible while you were carrying that silent burden. The truth does not just set you free, it sets you in motion. Tip 7. Trust the timeline even when it feels too slow. Leo, I know this is hard for you. Patience is not your favorite word. You are a fire sign. You want things to happen now. You want to see results immediately. You want proof that your efforts are working and you want it yesterday. But this week, the energy is asking you to trust a timeline that might feel frustratingly slow. And I promise you there is a reason for that pace. Think about a seed planted in the ground. For days, sometimes weeks, nothing visible happens on the surface. No sprout, no green, no sign of life. If you did not know better, you might think nothing was happening at all. You might be tempted to dig it up to check on it. You might be tempted to plant a new seed somewhere else. You might be tempted to give up entirely. But underneath the surface, in the darkness where you cannot see, that seed is working. Roots are growing. Systems are forming. The foundation for something beautiful is being built, quietly and invisibly, in the dark. That is exactly where you are right now in at least one area of your life. Something is growing beneath the surface. Something real. Something lasting. Something that needs time to build its roots before it can break through the soil and reach for the sun. And if you get impatient and dig it up, if you abandon it because you cannot see the progress, you will lose something that was closer to blooming than you ever imagined. Momentum is not always visible. Sometimes momentum looks like stillness on the outside while everything is shifting on the inside. Sometimes momentum is the quiet work that nobody sees. The habits being formed, the mindset being reshaped, the old patterns being released, the new foundations being laid. Just because you cannot see the progress does not mean it is not happening. And this week, trusting that invisible progress is one of the most important things you can do. There is a difference between waiting and trusting. Waiting is passive. Waiting is sitting around hoping something will change. Trusting is active. Trusting is doing the work every single day and believing that the results are on their way, even when you cannot see them yet. Trusting is showing up fully even when the feedback is not there yet. Trusting is continuing to water the seed even when the ground looks barren. Leo, your fire wants to see flames. Your pride wants to see results. Your heart wants to feel the reward. And all of that is coming. But it is coming on a timeline that is designed to give you the best possible outcome, not the fastest one. The best things in your life. The relationships that lasted, the achievements that mattered, the growth that transformed you. Those things took time. They did not happen overnight. They happened because you stayed committed even when it was hard, even when it was slow, even when you wanted to quit. So this week, do not quit. Do not give up on the thing that feels like it is taking too long. Do not abandon the seed just because you cannot see the sprout yet. Trust the process. Trust the timing. Trust that the universe, the energy, whatever you want to call it, is working behind the scenes on your behalf. Your job is not to control the timeline. Your job is to keep showing up. Keep doing the work. Keep believing. And when the breakthrough comes, and it will be worth every single moment of patience. Tip 8. Let go of who you were so you can become who you are meant to be. This is perhaps the most important tip of all, Leo. And it is the one that requires the most courage. Because what the energy is asking you to do this week is something that most people spend their entire lives avoiding. It is asking you to let go of an old version of yourself. A version that no longer fits. A version that served you once but is now holding you back. A version that feels comfortable and familiar but is too small for who you are becoming. You have been carrying an old identity. Maybe it is the identity of someone who always puts others first at the expense of their own dreams. Maybe it is the identity of someone who plays small to avoid making others uncomfortable. Maybe it is the identity of someone who defines themselves by their past mistakes, their old failures, their previous limitations. Whatever it is, you know it does not fit anymore. You have felt it for a while now, this growing sense that you have outgrown something. Like wearing clothes that are 2 sizes too small. You can still wear them, but they restrict your movement. They keep you from breathing fully. They keep you from stretching into the fullness of who you really are. Letting go of an old identity is one of the hardest things a person can do. Because your identity is wrapped up in how you see yourself, how others see you, and how you relate to the world. When you change your identity, everything changes. Your relationships shift. Your habits shift. Your priorities shift. The way people respond to you shifts. And that can feel terrifying. Because even if the old identity was limiting, at least it was familiar. At least you knew how to navigate it. The new version of you is uncharted territory. But here is the truth, Leo. Growth always requires letting go. Always. You cannot hold on to who you were and step into who you are meant to be at the same time. Those two things cannot exist in the same space. The caterpillar cannot become the butterfly while still trying to be a caterpillar. It has to dissolve completely before it can reform into something new. And that dissolution, that letting go, is not loss. It is transformation. This week, the energy is giving you permission to transform, to shed the old skin, to release the stories you have been telling yourself about who you are and what you are capable of. Those stories were written in a different chapter of your life. They were written by a version of you that did not have the wisdom, the experience, or the strength that you have now. And continuing to live by those old stories is like trying to navigate with an outdated map. The landmarks have changed. The roads have shifted. You need a new map. And the only way to get one is to put the old one down. Think about what you would do this week if you were not bound by who you used to be. Think about how you would show up if you had no history, no old patterns, no limiting beliefs holding you back. That person. The one who shows up fully, boldly, without apology. That is who you really are. That is who this week is inviting you to become. Not someday. Not eventually. Now. Leo, your sign represents the heart. And the heart is an organ of courage. The word courage itself comes from a word that means heart. So when I ask you to have the courage to let go of who you were, I am asking you to lead with your heart. To trust your heart. To let your heart guide you into a new chapter. Even when your mind is screaming to stay where it is safe. Your heart knows the way. It always has. And this week it is time to follow it. Some people watch. Others transform. If you want to be in the second group, the 21-day guide in the pinned comment gives you a clear step-by-step process aligned with your sign. This isn't about waiting. It's about moving. Tip 9. Celebrate your progress instead of focusing on how far you still have to go. Leo, you have a habit that you probably do not even realize you have. You achieve something meaningful. Something that took effort, courage, and persistence. And instead of pausing to celebrate it, you immediately look ahead to the next goal. You climb one mountain, and before you even catch your breath, you are staring at the next one. And while that kind of ambition is admirable, it is also quietly stealing your joy. It is also quietly undermining the very momentum you are trying to build. Here is why celebration matters. Your brain is wired to move toward things that feel good. When you celebrate a win, even a small one, your brain releases chemicals that make you feel proud, energized, and motivated. Those chemicals create a positive association with the effort you put in. And that positive association makes you want to do it again. It makes the next step easier. It makes the next challenge less intimidating. It makes the whole journey feel more sustainable. But when you skip the celebration and jump straight to the next goal, your brain never gets that reward. And without the reward, the motivation starts to fade. The journey starts to feel like an endless grind. And momentum, which thrives on positive energy, starts to slow down. Think about everything you have accomplished in the last month alone. Not just the big things, the small things too. The morning you woke up early even though you did not want to. The conversation you had that took courage. The boundary you set. The decision you made. The habit you stuck with. The moment you chose yourself instead of settling. Those things matter. They might not seem dramatic or impressive, but they are the building blocks of the life you are creating, and they deserve to be acknowledged. This week, create a simple ritual of celebration. It does not have to be grand. It can be as simple as writing down 3 things you are proud of at the end of each day. It can be treating yourself to something you enjoy after completing a task. It can be simply pausing for 30 seconds and saying to yourself, I did something good today. I showed up. I tried. And that matters. Those small moments of acknowledgement are fuel for your momentum. They remind your brain that the effort is worth it. They remind your heart that you are making progress. They remind your soul that you are on the right path. Leo energy craves recognition. This is not vanity. It is a deep need to be seen and appreciated. And while the recognition from others is wonderful when it comes, the most important recognition is the kind you give yourself. Because you are with yourself every moment of every day. You see every struggle, every effort, every small victory that nobody else notices. And if you do not acknowledge those things, nobody will. So be your own biggest fan this week. Not in an arrogant way, in a loving way, in a way that honors the effort you are putting in and the progress you are making. Momentum feeds on celebration. It feeds on positive energy. It feeds on the feeling that things are working, that progress is real, that the effort matters. So stop waiting until you reach the top of the mountain to feel good about the climb. Celebrate every step. Celebrate every day you show up. Celebrate every moment you choose growth over comfort. Because those moments are not just steps on the way to something bigger. They are the journey itself. And the journey is worth celebrating. Tip 10. Decide right now that this week will be different. Everything I have shared with you in this video comes down to one thing, Leo. A decision. Not a hope. Not a wish. Not a vague intention. A decision. A clear, firm, unmovable decision that this week will be different from the ones that came before it. Because here is the truth that most people never understand. Your life does not change because of circumstances. Your life changes because of decisions. And the most powerful decision you can make is the one that says, I am done living the way I have been living, and I am ready for something new. Most people drift through their weeks on autopilot. They wake up. They go through the motions. They react to whatever comes their way. They let their habits, their moods, and their circumstances dictate how they show up. And then they wonder why nothing changes. They wonder why they feel stuck. They wonder why the momentum they crave never seems to arrive. But the answer is simple. Momentum does not arrive. Momentum is created. And it is created by a decision. Right now, in this very moment, you have the power to make a decision that changes everything. Not a dramatic, life-altering, burn-it-all-down kind of decision. A quiet, internal, deeply personal decision that says, starting right now, I am going to show up differently. I am going to protect my energy. I am going to speak my truth. I am going to release what no longer serves me. I am going to trust the process. I am going to celebrate my progress. I am going to let go of who I was and step into who I am becoming. That decision, Leo, is the spark that lights the fire. That decision is the first domino that sets everything else in motion. And once you make it, truly make it, not just think about it, you will feel something shift inside you. It might be subtle at first, a quiet sense of clarity, a lightness in your chest, a feeling of possibility that you have not felt in a while. But that subtle shift is the beginning of momentum. And momentum, once it starts, is very hard to stop. Leo, you are a fixed fire sign. That means when you make a decision, you are capable of holding to it with a strength and determination that very few signs can match. You are built for commitment. You are built for consistency. You are built for the long game. And right now, the energy of this week is activating all of those qualities in you. It is waking up the part of you that knows how to commit, how to persist, how to keep going when things get hard. All it needs is your decision. Do not let this week be just another week. Do not let it blend into all the others that came before it. This week has something special in it for you. A window, an opening, a chance to step into a current of momentum that could carry you further than you have gone in months. But you have to choose it. You have to decide. And you have to decide now. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Not when you feel ready. Now. Because readiness is not something that comes to you. It is something you create. And you create it by deciding. So close your eyes for a moment. Take a deep breath. And say to yourself either silently or out loud, this week is going to be different. I am going to be different. I am ready. And then open your eyes and begin. One step, one decision, one moment of courage. That is all it takes. The rest will follow. Leo, the next 7 days are yours. Not because the stars are giving you something you do not already have, but because the stars are reminding you of something you forgot. You are powerful. You are capable. You are worthy of every good thing that is trying to come into your life. And the only thing that has been standing between you and that goodness is the decision to reach for it. This week reach. This week move. This week, build the momentum that carries you into the next chapter of your life. Everything we have talked about today, every tip, every insight, every piece of guidance, it all points to one simple truth. You already have everything you need. The fire is already inside you. The strength is already there. The vision is already clear. All that is missing is the motion, the decision to start, the commitment to keep going, and the faith to trust that when you move, the universe moves with you. This week is not about becoming someone new. It is about remembering who you have always been. A leader, a light, a force of warmth and courage and creative power. The world has been waiting for you to step fully into that role. And this week, the energy is making it easier than it has been in a very long time. So do not hold back. Do not play small. Do not wait for permission. Step into your power. Step into your momentum. Step into the life that has been waiting for you on the other side of one brave decision. The momentum is building. You can feel it. That restlessness, that fire, that quiet knowing that something big is on the horizon. It is all real. It is all here. And it is all waiting for you to say yes. So say yes, Leo. Say yes to yourself. Say yes to your dreams. Say yes to the version of you that has been waiting in the wings, ready to take the stage. This is your time. This is your week. This is your moment. And I believe in you. Even if you have not yet fully learned to believe in yourself, you have two options after this video. Close it and hope things shift. Or decide that the next 21 days will be different. If you choose the second, the structured 21-day transformation aligned with your sign is waiting in the pinned comment. The energy is already moving, the only question is whether you are.